Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. We're going to be looking at the Kabbalah, numerology, and astrology of the month of July. I decided to do this early in the morning while we are not in the middle of the heat wave that is hitting the west coast of the US. It's still pretty hot, and on the East Coast, heat usually comes with humidity. Hence, I tried to do something with my hair, but in this weather, my hair does what it wants. So July promises to be a very transformational month. I think I probably say that every month, but there's a real sense of literally the breaking of, or figuratively, I should say, I shouldn't say literally, the energy of something breaking, the breaking of a dam, something that was held back, something that was insurmountable, that is now going through the process of breaking free. So let's take a look at what I mean by that. The first thing we're going to look at is the numerology. So let's take a look at the numerology. So here we are looking at the astrology and the Kabbalah of July 2021. We start with the numerology and we'll look to the monthly vibration. Of course, July is the 7th month. And it says 7 symbolizes a point where spirit and matter meet in consciousness, a cyclic completion, a time for rest and introspection before the harvest manifests. All things need to rest and go within, be still, and to be still and to know. This is the energy of the mystic. And I got this from Numerology Light Vibrations by Jean. That's my reference. Then we look to the universal year, and we do this every month. So every month we talk about this. Of course, we're in a 5 vibration this year. 2021 vibrates to a 5. So 5 symbolizes curiosity, freedom, and change. It is a pivotal point between the 1 and 9 and represents a variety of experiences through its developed senses and many opportunities for decisions for the future. There is constant activity and a curiosity about life. And then if we are to add those 2 vibrations together, we get the vibration for the month of July 2021. And of course, when you add the 7 and the 5 together, we get a 12. So we're in a 12-3 vibration. And this is a number of strong individual principles. This energy must cultivate the courage of your convictions and a power to gain followers in its progressive ideas. You have the ability to see the truth and to be the reformer. You can use this energy to convince and lead by righting the wrongs of the people and policies. Know the truth that you crusade for and dare to believe in what you believe in. This is a time of the ending of one cycle and passing through to the completion of another cycle. You know, this is an interesting description of the 12-3 vibration. Just as a point of interest to some of you, this is actually the soul vibration of the one and only Bernie Sanders, who I don't know. Can you see him? Where is? I'm sorry. You can't. I have him back on my altar. Actually, let's do this in honor of. There he is, beneath the roses. So if we look at tarot cards associated with these vibrations, we can get a little deeper intimation of what this may mean for us in July. The tarot cards, the Chariot is the 7th tarot card, right? The Chariot is a card of movement. So things are going to start to move in July. Movement along your soul's path. It is found on the path of our souls taking on the mantle of the personality to take on the work of the soul. It is associated with the sign of Cancer. And of course, the sun is in Cancer most of the month. In July, we also have Mercury in Cancer. It moves into Cancer on 7/11, the 11th of July, and moves out on the 27th of July. Mercury now, because it's moving direct, is moving forward pretty quickly. And so it doesn't spend, what does it spend? Was that 16 days in Cancer? So while Mercury is in Cancer, we can expect the lens that we take in information when Mercury's in Cancer to be through our emotional body. And of course, when the sun's in Cancer, we experience the world through our emotional body. So we can expect a lot of feelings coming up, and a lot of movement of feelings. You know, if you're feeling stuck, this is when those feelings start to move. If we look at the 5 vibration, we have the Heraphant card. And the Heraphant card is a card of tradition. It is, excuse me, pardon me. It is access, this is where we access our previous knowledge and understanding by listening to that small, still voice within. And when I talk about previous knowledge and understanding, I'm talking about previous lifetimes, actually. The Hierophant is the revelation of the inner voice, or the flash of insight that comes when we least expect it. It is associated with the sign of Taurus. And of course, Uranus is in Taurus. And one of the ways in which Uranus will manifest itself through your chart and into your life is with these flashes of insight, and sometimes fractured memories. Like you'll have a piece of memory that sort of precipitates in, and you're like, where am I? And then another piece comes in. Uranus planetarily holds our past. So you might have a memory from your past come up, your past lives, and your future possibilities. So it holds. It's our individuated unconscious. So what is individual to us through all our lifetimes, but it's unconscious, but it does become conscious when Uranus activates or gets activated. And Uranus is doing big activations through the month of July. So, and of course, the Saturn-Uranus square has been the story of 2021. And so that is going to move in a very personal direction this month. Uranus is in Taurus, creating the need for change in your relationship to your resources and your relationship to the earth. And I say this as there's a 1 in 1,000 year heat wave going on in the Pacific Northwest. So perhaps the earth is trying to tell us something. And then the Hangman card. So the Hanged Man is a card associated with patience and reversals. This card requires us to look at things from a different perspective, to be aware of what you can change and what you can't. This is your connection to cosmic consciousness is needed. I see the mantra of the Hanged Man as the Serenity Prayer. And I want to actually read the Serenity Prayer, so let me find it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This Hanged Man card is associated in Kabbalah with the planet Neptune, And Neptune is retrograde through July and is in Pisces. So Neptune moved into Pisces in 2011, and it's there for 14 years. Because it's retrograde, we have an opportunity to reevaluate our connection to source energy. There's always a reevaluation. It could also be a reevaluation of our dreams and our aspirations. The answer lies within the great cosmic sea of consciousness. And so we can even see that even in this Hangman card, which is less traditional, all these cards are from the Light Seers deck, which I absolutely love because I think it's very modern. But we can see this woman is hanging herself upside down, and in the water beneath her. And of course, Neptune deals with the great cosmic sea, but it also deals with the oceans. There are runes. There are runes here. There are messages within the great cosmic sea down here. Where is it? Oh, here we go. I lost my cursor. I always lose my cursor. But it does require you to look at the world from a different perspective. So if you can maybe get into one of those inversion chairs, that turn you upside down, that might be helpful. If you're limber enough to do this, do this. If you're not, don't do that, because Uranus, with what's going on with Saturn and Uranus at this time, you don't want to do anything too dangerous, as it were. So let's take a look at the paths on the tree of life that these vibrations activate. So we'll look at the 7 vibration, the vibration of the Chariot, and the vibration of Cancer, really the sun in Cancer, and the fact that July the sun spends most of its time in July in the sign in Cancer. So if we look here, we see here is the path. It is the path of the Chariot right here. This activates the path of the Chariot, connecting the Sephira Bina, which is up here. Bina is associated, I lost my cursor again. Okay, Bina is associated with the divine feminine, and Gebura, which is associated with spiritual warrior. This is all, this path is completely in the path on the feminine side of the tree, or the pillar of severity, This is also the pillar of the future, And so we are creating our future in the present moment. Bina is often associated with times of darkness. It can be associated with the suffering. There's a sense of constraint with Bina, and actually the planetary correlation to Bina is Saturn. The correlation to Gebura, the astrological correlation to Gebura is Mars. And so this Chariot path, we can see that Saturn and Mars are connected. And what's the first aspect that occurs astrologically in July is an opposition between Mars and Saturn, Mars in Leo and Saturn in Aquarius. Now, let's continue with this. This is the path associated with Cancer. Cancer is the sign of incarnation, the way into life. We all come in through our mothers. It's the only way. And of course, Bina being the divine feminine and the world womb, W-O-M-B, right? Or the anima mundi, I think, the world soul. The world soul is in Bina. This is the place where the soul takes on the armor of the ego personality and goes on its evolutionary path. So this activation, this opposition between the planet associated with Bina and the planet associated with Gebura, it's as if it's a road opens up to us, right? Or there's certainly, we become aware of something, because oppositions are all about awareness. Possibly the awareness of our creative force, Mars in Leo, in service to Saturn and Aquarius, humanitarian endeavor. This path is the 18th path on the Tree of Life, called the intelligence of the House of Influence. If we go to the path of the Heraphant, the number 5 path, 5 activates the path of the Heraphant, connecting the Sefer Chokmah to Hesed. So here's Chokmah, here's Hesed, and here's the Heraphant. If you notice this month that we are connecting our third eye with the, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. This is third eye, this is throat, and it's getting connected both on the pillar of the future and the pillar of the past. So it's almost like a mirror image to each other. And this is Uranus. Uranus is associated with Chokmah. Where are we? Uranus is associated with Chokmah, and Hesed is associated with Jupiter. This is located in the pillar of the path and associated with the masculine side of the tree. It is the pillar, it's actually also called the pillar of mercy, the pillar of mercy. The path that this is associated with Taurus, right? This path is associated with our inner hearing, the need to listen for that small, still voice within. This is the 16th path on the Tree of Life, called the triumphant intelligence. He is the message of the higher self, or the perception of higher consciousness. That's who the Heraphant is. So we all have our personal Heraphants, right? The personal Heraphant would be our higher mind, our higher vibrational self, And of course, Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus. And once we have the opposition between Saturn and Mars, Mars goes on to square Uranus. And so a path will be open to us, just like the path of the Chariot opens up and says to the soul, this is your armor, this personality, this experience in this lifetime. Go forth and do your soul's work. And then on the other side of the tree, we have the Hierophant, which is a connection to our divine source, right? And our past and all the past knowledge. So for those of us who understand that our lives work on a progression and we're evolving through these lifetimes, the lessons that we've learned from previous lives that we bring into this life will become important. And in an astrological chart, what you understand, what you know, is seen in Pluto, the position of Pluto in your chart, and your south node. That's the karmic axis. And then we get a little bit more information from the rulers of the south node by house and sign, and the ruler of Pluto, your natal Pluto by house and sign. So if you're looking to say, well, where's my knowledge base? What do I know that I know that I know? That's where you can find it in a chart. And then the 12-3, the Hangman, this activates this path, the path of the Hangman, connecting Geburah to Hod. And so we see that here. And in this path, we are actually crossing over. There's a veil that sits here. It's called the veil of Paraketh. From Tiphereth up, we are dealing with our higher self. And from Tiphereth down, we are dealing with our lower self. And this path of the Hangman connects our higher and lower self, but on the path of the future. It is not necessarily a path of action, but a path of observance, of observing. That's true of the path over here on which is associated with the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune was, what month was that? and a 5. That was May. May was a Wheel of Fortune month. So we can, sort of go back to then because that's when things shifted and changed. But even that Wheel of Fortune energy is not something you can act upon. It acts upon you. And this is not something, and the Hanged Man is not something that you can act upon, but it's an observance. Because you're kind of in limbo with this. So there are a lot of things being opened up and shown to us in July. And while Mars is very active in July, especially in the first 3 days of July, it's pointing in a direction more than actually getting up and moving forward. That is going to happen. In that the vibrations are more aligned with August for that, because in August we move into another vibration, which is a vibration of letting go. So we still have, we're becoming aware of things, I would say, in July. This path is associated with the planet Neptune. On the path, we must look at life in a totally different way. Here, the mind becomes a clear, receptive vehicle, operating with pure, unfettered, and unclouded universal mind. This is a time of suspension of thought and action. So it's not about being in your monkey mind, and it's not about taking action, even though Mars is like all like, it's a time of observance. It's a time of connecting with cosmic consciousness. There are things, remember, this is the serenity repair. There are things that you can affect and there's things that you can't. And we have to have the wisdom to know the difference. So the chakras activated in this month. The path of the Chariot connects, and here it is, the path of the Chariot. Where's my cursor? I can find the path, I can't find my cursor. Here's the path of the Chariot, connecting the third eye to the throat. The path of the Heraphant, connecting the third eye to the throat. The third eye, of course, is our intuition. It's our ability to know, to see, pattern recognition, right? And the throat is where we co-create with spirit, right? This is finding your voice. So seeing here and speaking here, but it needs to be in alignment. It needs to be in alignment. And for the most part, you're not speaking from your personality, but spirit is speaking through us. Spirit is working through us. What is it, the thing that used to piss me off in the Bible? Thy will be done, right? That used to like piss me off because it was Mary and, women didn't have any agency. But I've come to understand that when Mary says, let thy will be done, Mary is not like the biological Mary. Well, it's more of symbolic of, Mary being the receptive principle for the will of God. And so that the will and the will of God can take action in the world. And that's really what's happening at this time. And when I say God, I don't mean an old guy with a beard sitting on a throne up in the sky. No, it's our own divine connection, the God within, connected to the God within with everybody, right? It's our cosmic consciousness. It's how we're all connected. And then the path of the Hanged Man, we go from the throat to the solar plexus. And the solar plexus energetically is a place of action, but the action cannot be a personal action. The action must be an action that comes from spirit, right? So let's look at the chakras here. We have the third eye chakra, right? This is getting activated through the 7 vibration and the 5 vibration. Third eye is called Anja. It means to know, to perceive, and to command. The element is the element of light. It is our psychic ability, our intuition, and our ability to recognize patterns, pattern recognition. If you have this activated in your own chart, You can be a phenomenal astrologer, because astrology is the recognition of the patterns of the stars, and what that may mean, and what the potential is in that. And here we have the throat chakra, Vishuddha, meaning purification. Here the element is sound. This is the place of divine will. It's also the place of communication and self-expression. It is in the throat chakra that we co-create with spirit. It is in the throat chakra that we find our voice. So we must speak, but we must speak from a higher vibrational place. This is not a personal thing. This is in a way, transpersonal um, experience. And then we have the solar plexus, called Manipura, meaning lustrous gem. Here we have the element of fire. This is power and energy, personal will, autonomy, self-worth, and self-esteem. And so it's important to have a good sense of worth and esteem of yourself, to respect your body, to realize that your body is a vessel for spirit and an instrument for spirit, and that my will, divine will, right? My will, may my will be divine will, kind of feeling here. So that is the energy from the perspective of the tree of life and the numbers. And the next thing we're going to look at is the astrology. Now, I want to do, I'm going to do this in parts because the astrology of July is pretty intense, and the biggest part of it is going to be the beginning of July. So we'll take a look at that.